Ladies and gentlemen, JP Alexander Brother Rabid Dogs Unleashed. Today is Monday, June 14th, 2021. I made a video yesterday and I had such a good time. I'm making another one today. And this is about a subject completely different. The subject of today's video is Burt Reynolds, the actor Burt Reynolds. We all remember him. He died, I believe, last year at the age of 82, 83, something like that. Led a good, long life. A little bit about his background, I guess. But Reynolds was a college football player who was trying to make the pros, I guess. I think he might have been signed by the Baltimore Colts or something. I'm not sure. And then I don't think he actually played pro ball, but he played college ball. Uh, and he looks like he was a college player. It looks like he could have played back in 1955 or whenever he graduated college. Uh, I played 1955. I don't know what year he graduated college. I think, yeah, I can imagine him being a football player back in those days. And I think he broke into acting. I know some people said he looked like Marlon Brando when a young Brando he looked like when he was young. And Brando, I heard probably didn't like him that much or something. But I always liked Burt Reynolds. I thought he was underrated. I thought people, uh, he was around. I remember I used to go to drive-ins with my parents. Used to go drive-in to see some crappy films. Remember I saw Peter Fonda in Dirty Harry and Crazy. You marry a Crazy Larry and Dirty Mary. I don't know what it was called. And then I remember it was a double bill with like Gator or something. Burt Reynolds. I know he's in Dan August as a cop, probably in the late 1960s. But then in the 70s, he made some cheesy flicks. But well, Deliverance, not a cheesy flick. Deliverance was probably his best role ever. I know he was nominated for best actor, best supporting actor in that movie. I think he was great in that film. I think. Um, but I think he made some good films back then. I mean, Gator was stupid, but I enjoyed it. I think it was good. Good drive-in fare, let's say. But it was all these redneck movies, like always driving the cars fast, and he was always showing off, and he's always got chewing the gum, and he's too cool for school, and these white trash girls. But it was good for what it was, And I heard at the time he was a stunt man. I was doing a lot of his own stuff. He did his own stunts before, Tom Cruise is doing it now. We're making a big deal, but he was doing it back when you could get hurt, and he probably did get hurt a lot. And I know he really burst into when he became a fucking household name. He became the Tom Cruise. He became the Brad Pitt. He became the biggest star of his day. And this is when stars were like, he was one of the first big stars. Like anything he touched was like gold, and he was like the biggest star in the world at that time. This is like 1977. I remember I was like 11 or something. I remember Smokey and the Bandit had come out, and you watch it now, it's dumb. It's always dumb. When I was 11, it was great. It was like it's cool, cool car, cool 18-wheel truck, cool everything. The whole movie was just cool. There was just everything was just cool about it, and it was funny. It was a comedy. It was stupid. You smash cars, but it was good. I mean, it was ahead of its time in that a lot of people wanted to do that, but he took a lot of films that were being made at the time, like A Gator and like Gone in 60 Seconds, Eat My Dust. A lot of the Roger Corman kind of films, and uh, he started it, and his friend who was a stuntman, Hal Needham, ended up directing it, and I think it was I loved it. I mean, all the kids loved it. We loved that film. We were like, I mean, that and Saturday Star Wars were like the biggest thing, and at that time for kids, And I mean, I remember the three films he made in a row. It was Smoking the Bandit, The End, and and Hooper. The end was different than the other two because there was no car chases. The end was just, it was a comedy, but it was a comedy, but there was no car chases, explosions. It was just uh, I would it was more him acting and him sometimes some nice emotional scenes in that. So I think he always got a bad rap, but it looked like he was having women loved him. My mother loved him. My father hated him. This is the thing about him. Like a lot of actors are like, oh, women want to be with him and men want to be him. No, that the difference between Burt Reynolds was women wanted to be with him and men wanted to beat the shit out of him because he just came across as a fucking wise ass, a show off. Just yeah, that stupid laugh. I mean, my father hated him, and I know a lot of other people who probably hated him at that time. They were like, what a jackass this guy is. But he was having a good time. I mean, I think that movie, those three movies, were just him having a fucking blast. I mean, Hooper was just, just cars flying, just the life of a stuntman. It was his gift to the stuntman at that time. And if you see a movie like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, okay, better than most of Reynolds movies, okay, but the relationship between the Leonardo DiCaprio character and the Brad Pitt character can be attributed to the relationship between Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham. Hal Needham lived with Burt Reynolds for years, and it was like that was probably something that you didn't see a lot of those days. So of course, when I saw that movie, I looked at those two as like that must be the inspiration for this film, or to put those two in there. And Burt Reynolds I think was extremely underrated as an actor, and I think he worked, and he gave a gift. I think he was a nice guy deep down inside him. A lot of times you hear about his fights and stuff because I don't think he likes to be disrespected. I don't think he likes that, but he just seemed like he got a few months ago. I saw the movie Starting Over, which is a movie he was in with Joe Claiborne and Candice Bergen, and they both got Academy Award nominations for Best Supporting Actress. I think Charles Durning, who plays his brother in that, got Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, and the movie got Academy Award nomination for Best Picture, and the director got Academy Award. Everybody got, he jokes. He was on, I think, Inside the Actors Studio, and he said everybody got an Academy Award nomination except me and the Key Grip. Kind of, how Hollywood didn't really like Burt Reynolds, and they thought he was a clown. And even when he made a serious role, and he was good in it, he was good in that movie. They just kind of, dismissed it as who cares, he's, but they reap praise on everybody else in the movie except him, So I think Burt Reynolds got a lot of shit, thrown back at him. But I think, he came at some certain time, and when the acting, the big studio players were like not, were like kind of going by the wayside, and it was more like he came at that time with like Clint Eastwood and him came around the same time, and I know Clint and him and Clint Eastwood. He said the nicest thing about when he was in the actor studio. He said when he got hurt, and he says it's just great about Hollywood. He was saying how he got hurt making the cop buddy film, City Heat, I think it was, with Clint Eastwood. Not a great movie. A lot of Burt Reynolds movies were not great, but it looked like they're having fun making it. But he got hurt during one of the scenes, stunt scene. He was doing his own stunts, I guess, and he got hurt. And then I don't know what happened. He was hurt and he couldn't eat and something, and he lost a lot of weight. And, this is the time, early days of AIDS, and people were saying, he's got AIDS. He's got AIDS. And, National Guard was probably saying he's got AIDS, he's dying, he's only got a little bit of time to live, all this stuff. And he lost a lot of weight. And he was saying the only people who came to see him, he mentioned George Hamilton, who was in the audience at that day. And he mentioned Clint Eastwood would go, visit him when everybody else would do one. And he said he'd call up, people in the industry who were like supposedly good friends with him when he was making them money, like producers and directors, and they wouldn't return his phone calls. They wanted nothing to do with him, and it's just sad that that's how Hollywood is. It's like, you're making me money, you're my best friend. You're not making me money, I could care if you live or die. And it's sad because a lot of people thought he was probably going to die, and people were like, okay, fine, I don't care. He's not making me any more money. It's pretty fucking sad that is like that, but that's the cutthroat world they live in. It seemed like he was really hurt when he was saying that, but he was successful on a television show, and I think he got a lot of, I think you hear a lot about him when he married Lonnie Anderson. That wasn't probably a good idea. I always wished he would have married Sally Field. Like, he dated her for a while, but I think they should have. I don't know. So I think Sally Field was just a great. I think she's still a great actress, and I think she's a great woman too. And I think the Odd Couple definitely, but I think they complemented each other. And the films they were in together, I really enjoyed most of them. And I think that's probably his heyday, because she was actually a great actress, agreeing to star in the shit that he was making. It was almost like she was having a good time too. And it was just like, sometimes you just gotta make a film to have a good time. Like, I compare Clint Eastwood to that too. When Clint Eastwood made the Any Which Way But Loose, and Any Which Way You Can, and Every Which Way But Loose, and Any Which Way You Can, something like that. He made two of them. And yeah, they were stupid movies, but at the time they were his biggest grossing movies, because it was just him having a good time. It was like, I'm going to direct these two films. I'm just going to have a good time. I'm going to put some of my friends in the movies. Adam Sandler does that all the time now, and nobody says shit about it, But of course he gets bad reviews, but they keep giving him money to make it. Back then, I guess, Burt Reynolds was one of the first people to do it, who just had his friends in these movies, and Clint Eastwood too. And just, let's make these stupid movies. Let's just have a good time making them. And it seemed like Burt Reynolds was just having a blast making, like, Smokey and the Bandit. And don't tell me his laugh annoyed you. Don't tell me, oh, it was stupid. No, don't tell me Jackie Gleason wasn't just fucking incredible in that film. Don't tell me you didn't laugh your ass off in that whole. It was like, don't tell me when, the other cop is saying to him, "You're out of your jurisdiction. That's very germane of you." And he goes, "The goddamn German's got nothing to do with it." It's just funny as shit, because it's just, you can imagine somebody as stupid as his Sheriff Buford T. Justice instead of Buford Buster. He's so fat. He's ordering the Diablo set. It's just, you gotta watch the movie if you haven't seen it in a while. Watch. It's just stupid. It's car smashing. It's Big Enos and Little Enos, and it's like the whole thing is fucking ridiculous. But it looks like it makes me think of course, obviously, Adam Sandler. Because Adam Sandler's making these stupid. I love Grown Ups, the movie Grown Ups. Excuse me, yeah, my glasses flew off. I hit my glasses off. But the movie Grown Ups reminds me of like something that's more going to be, because it's just Adam Sandler's hanging out with his friends. Let's just film. Let's just go with it. And Grown Ups 2 is fucking hard. I will not recommend that to my worst enemy. That was horrible. That is shite. But Grown Ups 1 is one of my guilty pleasures, because I just love the camaraderie between the guys, and how they're just making jokes, and it's just like, just film. I'll film 9 hours. I'll film 9 hours of us hanging out, and I'll cut it down. I'll find some way to cut it to an hour and a half film. That's what it seems like. And for some reason, to me, it works. And that's like something like Smoking the Bandit. Let's just wreck cars. Let's just smash up cars, The whole plot, if there is a plot, is Big Enos and Little Enos. This tall guy and little Paul Williams and tall, I forget it, Patrick McCormick, I think his name was. The father and son. And they're rich, and they have so much. They have like fuck you money, I guess, and they want Coors beer. Why? Because they just want Coors beer sucks. I think it sucks to this day. I think it always sucks. But they wanted Coors beer, and you couldn't get it in, like, I guess, Georgia. So you had to go to Texas to get it. So he said, "You bring, I'm going to give you X amount. You bring me back a truckload full of Coors beer, like 18-wheel truck full load of Coors beers. I'll give you $80,000. You know, just to go to Florida and get it. Just to go to Georgia and get it. Bring it back to Georgia, Texas and get it. Bring it back to Georgia." And his friends Jerry Reed, who plays the snowman, which is the truck driver, and then the truck is gonna go there, no problem, doing 80 miles an hour because the bandits gonna run, like, I guess, interference for him. I guess that's what it's supposed to be, something like that. And they get there, no problem, and they just go there and they just steal, a truckload full of it. And they just, nobody notices that they're in there using a forklift and putting everything in the 18-wheel truck and packing it full of Coors beer and just leaving. And nobody sees them stealing it. And then they go back to Georgia, and the whole thing is the sheriff in this Texarkana, Texas, the Jackie Gleason character, he's starting to chase him. And what happened, I guess, is that his son was supposed to marry Sally Field, and she ended up ditching him at the altar. So there's kind of a personal vendetta to get him, and then Burt Reynolds picks her up and ends up taking her, and I guess she ended up hooking up with him. But anyway, the plot sounds stupid, me just explaining it, but it's a really good movie. And my point is that Burt Reynolds was just abused for years. When I think he's made some really good. I really liked Smoking the Bandit and Hooper in the end. I really liked those movies. I liked Deliverance. I liked Starting Over. I liked a whole bunch of his films. I liked Gator. I liked what is the other one called? The one he made when he played Gator, but it wasn't called Gator. Gator was a sequel to the first one, which is called something else, which is called White Lightning. White Lightning, that's it. White Lightning, making illegal alcohol in the woods or something. He's running illegal alcohol. I don't know what it is. It's stupid, but and I like this television show, and I like a lot about Burt Reynolds, and I think he got a good deal in Hollywood. But yeah, so this was this episode was about Burt Reynolds, and I want to draw a shout out. Anybody notice in the movie Bridesmaids, Jill Clayburgh played Kristen Wiig's mother, and she has pictures of Burt Reynolds as a bandit in the house because women loved Burt Reynolds back then. But a little something, Jill Clayburgh was in with Burt Reynolds. Wasn't she in more than one movie with Burt Reynolds? Wasn't she in one with Burt Reynolds and Chris Christopherson? Was it Chris Christopherson? Burt Reynolds was in a movie with Jill Clayburgh? I don't know, but she was definitely in Starting Over with Burt Reynolds. I remember that. And Jill Clayburgh's another actress who what happened to her? I'm glad she was in Bridesmaids, but man, she went, she would kind of fall off the face of the earth. I thought she was sexy back in the 70s. I thought she was sexy, but not the blonde-haired, blue-eyed kind of sexy that Hollywood likes, or the young girl Hollywood likes. No, like a woman, like a real woman. Like, you ever see the movie in Unmarried Woman? That was a serious film. And she was, there was a love scene in that where she was just sexy. I thought she was sexy. So, Jill Clayburgh, I got to do a video about her one day. I really thought Jill Clayburgh was the shit back in the day. Back in the 70s, I always had a thing for women who didn't fit the criteria, the perfect criteria of Hollywood. The women who were a little bit off the main beaten path. Like, of course, there was like Farrah, Fawcett. I thought Kate Jackson was better looking than her. Farrah Fawcett was the blonde, bleach blonde. Was it bimbo? And Kate Jackson was the smart. Jacqueline Smith, I thought was her sex. We're going to talk about sheer sex appeal. To me, in that show, I would say Jacqueline Smith was the number one. Just reeked of sex appeal. Just so sexy as fuck. Okay? But the girl I would like to date, who I would try to go out with, was Kate Jackson. She was cool. She had that car she drove, she just looked like she was in control of herself. She looked like a confident, woman. Anybody who could drive the Cobra 2, that crappy Mustang from 1974, and look cool doing it, uh, to me, deserves an award just for that. And so I was the kind of guy who didn't find, Foul Fawcett all that hot. So in the '70s, I grew up with, like, people like, whoa, 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 and they were talking about, Suzanne Summers, and I always found the old lady who was going for John Ritter's character pretty good looking. I forget what her name was. She was on the show for like one season, and she was just hitting on John Ritter's character all the time, and I just kind of thought you, I mean, Joyce DeWitt, I didn't find that hot. So I'm not going to say Joyce DeWitt I like better than Susan Summers, but I wasn't a big Susan Summers fan either. But I was always the weird guy who just wasn't into the girls that my friends were into. Like, wasn't this girl? Let me think about some of the girls from the '70s that I wasn't it. Oh my God, she was in Buck Rogers in the 21st Century. Uh, what was her name? I forget her name. She was hot. She was hot as hell. So yeah, a lot of those times, and I was into the women who were a little bit. What about Carter? Carter's wife, I thought was attractive. I mean, maybe I'm a little weird, I thought Carter. I actually like PJ Souls from. She was in the movie Carrie in Rockville High School, and I actually thought Carrie was cute too. I mean, the girls who abused Carrie were fucking bitches. I like Carrie better. I thought Carrie was a nice girl. You should have, you know. That's why I believe the guy kind of fell for Carrie at the end, because she was a nice, innocent girl who just, wanted to be loved. What's wrong with that? Sissy Spacek, I think, was a kind of like that kind of cute little Southern girl, kind of like Holly Hunter was another one. I thought was attractive and didn't fit the criteria of what Hollywood's telling us. Isn't this girl? I guess so. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So how did I get from Burt Reynolds to Burt Reynolds? If there's somebody who personifies the '70s, it was Burt Reynolds, of an actor. But you also got, Clint Eastwood, Chris Christopherson, who, really hit the '70s, like, and they were like, that era for that kind of actor, let's say. But yeah, I mean, the women. I should do a show on the women in the '70s. Really think back in the '70s, and really, I mean, Julie, the cruise director from the Love Boat. Everybody slept with her, and I'm envious. I'm envious. I didn't get to sleep with Julie, for the cruise director from the Love Boat. Uh, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think about some other shows that were on the air that I thought the women were hot, but it was kind of few and far in between, let's say. Christy McNichol. She turned to be a lesbian, but I thought Christy McNichol was hot as. I mean, I know she was a few years older than me, but I had like a crush on her, and not a crush on Susie Quattro from. Nobody knows who probably she is. She played her most famous role, probably the only. I don't know how much she acted, but she played Leather Tuscadero in Pinky Tuscadero's youngest sister, which they didn't look anything alike. Like they weren't. I can't believe they played sisters in that show, but they didn't play. I don't think they were on any episode together. But Leather Tuscadero was played by Susie Quattro. She was a singer in the '70s. She actually was pre Joan Jett and the Runaways, and she actually kind of Joan Jett got her look from Susie Quattro, and Susie Quattro at the time was big among girls, and I don't know why she's not in the Rock and Roll of Fame, but I think Susie Quattro was hot as shit. Like, I watched some videos of her in it, and I go, she had to kind of look like Christy McNichol look, and I thought they were both like hot at the time. I was young, I was a kid, I was like looking at them like, oh, I'd like to date a girl like that one day, and Tatum O'Neal. when she was young. Cute, and the facts of like Joe, Nancy McKeon. I mean, take Blair. I don't care. Take Blair. I don't. But, I don't care. I didn't find Blair that attractive at all. Nancy McKeon, Joe, man, that's the kind of girl I wanted to go out with, and hang out. And yeah, when I was young, I was like, yeah, when I start dating women, even though I should have been probably dating women at that time, but I was too much of a loser. But I was like, I wish I could date these women. These are the kind of girls I wish I could get when I get. And maybe there's a chance for me. Girls wouldn't look at me in a million years. Even now, even if they're living under a bridge and I see one of them living under a bridge smoking some crack, and I offer them a bottle, they probably tell me to fuck off. I was thinking about, was it Nancy? Allen, who was like homeless for a while. Was that? No, it was Margot Kidder uh, from Superman. I can offer. No, Marsha Brady. She was on crack or something, heroin or I don't know what the hell. But I'm listening to. I never found Marsha Brady that fucking hot. It was always Eve Plum. Give me Jan, man. I'm telling you. Ron Glass, when she was talking about a boyfriend, Ronald Glass, she just saw Glass and said, well, Ronald Glass. And I was like, I wish I was Glass, I kind of found her to be cute, She was always like, oh, Marsha. I would say, forget about Marsha. It's you. You're the diamond in the rough, babe. You're the diamond in the rough, Another one, too. The redhead from Gilligan's Island. Fuck that. Marianne. That's the girl I want, These are diamonds in the rough, that I find, and I'm like, yeah, those are the ones, what you looking at, these hot girls. Oh, wow, ooh, and you're oogling over these hot girls. I'm gonna be looking at the one behind her, the diamond in the rough, the one you ain't looking at. That's the one I'm looking at. No, go after that one. I don't care. I'm not gonna cock block you on that one. I'm going for the one who nobody wants, And then as soon as I want her, you're gonna probably want her, because that's the story of my life. Anyway, on that note, this has been a talk about Burt Reynolds, where I lost that subject a while ago. But I'm gonna have to get a subject about the girls of the '70s. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, that's my next video. I swear, that's my next video. Until then, this is JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed. Until the next time, when I do that video, ciao.